Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, Yuji, Original Grognard coming back and continuing our look at the new Battletech computer game from Harebrained Schemes. I was mistakenly calling it Harebrained Studios last episode. Harebrained Schemes and Paradox. And last video we kind of took a look at the mercenary management and running your finances, your day-to-day operations. And tonight we're going to be looking at the actual ground combat and how combat goes in the game. And we take a look. Things have kind of changed a little bit. It's been 30 weeks. So I sat down and played it a little bit last night. Some bad things have happened. Yeah, I lost my last two of my original mech warriors from the original 5 or 6. I lost Glitch in a random contract mission, and then I lost Behemoth last night in one of the storyline missions. So had to hire a few new people. So picked up Bullet Trap. He was one of the Kickstarter backers. So he's actually doing pretty good. He's got piloting 6, gunnery 6. Herbagon, my artillery specialist, is wounded right now. There was a random event that happened that ended up wounding him, and so I've got Nibbler and Pointer, Rambo, Taskmaster. So yeah, I mean pretty much everybody but Herbagon is still alive from the last time we took a look at this. I feel bad when I lose my pilots. Still getting over my cold. All right, so as you can see up here in the upper right-hand corner, we got Herbagon. He's out of action for 3 days. I've got Argo upgrading the lounge to an upgraded lounge. That's 12 days and 25 days until a financial report. And I don't think I can back out of this, but I wanted to show you how you do the contract, but evidently I saved it after. So, well, I guess we're not really going to see that too much. But once you accept the contract, and you either transfer to the planet where it's at, or you're at the planet where it's at, you go ahead and you get in position. You're all ready, and I think we're all ready. So we're just going to go ahead and launch the contract. And this will bring up your mech choice. Now, again, you can only bring 4 mechs with you. So the mission last night, the last storyline mission I did last night where I lost Behemoth, and at the end of it, I actually managed to pick up a Highlander. And I'm very, very, very happy with this Highlander. This is, this is a really, really freaking beefy mech, and it's got some Starlink technology in it. It's got some double heat sinks, and I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but yeah, this is a really, really nice mech. And let's see where we do. Okay, we take Taskmaster. He's our other missile support. His TAC is the highest, so we got him on missile support. We got him in the trebuchet. Still looking for a catapult. I really want to get a catapult so I get those LRM 20s. I got Bullet Trap and a Kentaro, and a Pointer and a Jaeger mech. Now I switched out the Jaeger mech. Did I switch out the Jaeger mech? Did I? No, this is still the stock Jaeger mech. Or not the stock Jaeger mech. This is my variation of the Jaeger. I was thinking of going back to the stock edition, which drops some armor and sticking the 2 medium lasers in it. But that's okay. We'll go with that for now. And yeah. Okay, so I did want to explain a little bit. Okay, so we have up here mission type battle. That'll tell you type of battle, the mission type you're jumping into. The biome, which is the ground, the combat that you're fighting over. So this is a Martian biome. So thin atmosphere makes it difficult to sink heat and distance, stuff like that. The difficulty is 3.5 skulls. And we look down at my tonnage. I'm running at 260, 280. That font's a little hard for me to read if my big fat head isn't in the way. And I'm at 3.5 drop tonnage. So, it's an even difficulty mission. And so we have MX and my pilots. And then you'll see these little initiatives here. There are 5 steps to initiative. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you start at the top and go down, and whatever your initiative is, you get to act during that initiative. You can do a reserve movement. We'll be getting into that a little bit, but basically it comes down to if you're in a light mech, your initiative is 4. If you're in a medium, it's 3. If you're in a heavy, it's a 2. If you're in assault, it's a 1. And if you expert out in tactics, it gives you +1 initiative. So Herbagon has expert out in tactics, so he actually gets a +1 to his initiative. And when he's in the trebuchet, since it's a medium mech, his initiative is normally 3. But since he's specced out so high in tactics, his initiative is actually a 4, and that has come in really handy a lot of times. But so that's what we're looking at. We got my assault mech with me, 1 initiative. Assault mechs, big, fat, heavy, don't go too fast, operate last. And then 2 initiative 3s and initiative 2. And if you want to, you can kind of see the details. So I'll go ahead and pull this up since we didn't see me going through the contract on it. The Urano Restoration, which is, again, that's the storyline group that you're working for. Mission: secure borders, maximum pay 738,000, max salvage 1 of my choices, and 8 pieces of salvage max, and max reputation +0. Commander, Restoration Surveillance teams have picked up what we believe to be the signature of an active parole of Directorate mechs engaging in reconnaissance near the borders of our holdings on this planet. The Directorate are the bad guys in this one. This is technically not a violation of our sovereignty. It's kind of silly. The 2 of them are at war, so I don't think they. I mean, it's generic flavor text, but the Directorate and the Restoration are at full war, so. Sovereignty isn't really an issue when you're fully at war. But it's clearly provocative. We need to send a message by destroying the patrol mechs. Should you encounter any other Directorate units, there will be a bonus for destroying those as well. And there's always bonus. You're always outnumbered. I get it. The computer AI is not as smart as a dumb human. So to compensate for this, instead of decreasing hit chances or increasing how difficult they are, they've gone the route of just increasing how much shit you have to deal with. It is what it is. Until AI gets to the point where it can almost think like a human, that's your two options. Give the computer bonuses or throw more crap at you. So let's go ahead and deploy, and this takes a few seconds to load up. And you always have these little historical hints and flavor text up here in the corner, and they flip through them every once in a while. And we should have the splash screen coming up in a little bit. There we go. Which gives you a little bit, basically the same information that we've already seen before. Mission name, the type, max pay, salvage, difficulty, flavor text, and then your XO kind of gives a little advice. Straightforward job, Commander. This kind of back and forth is typical on Parafree worlds. All right, cool. So go ahead and begin the mission. Command interface initiated. Okay, Darius Oliveria. That's your XO. This is the border region our employers are worried about. Orbital surveillance suggests our targets are in this region, and it's kind of cool because they put this big yellow light on the map so you can actually kind of see it. Let's move and make contact. Olivier out. Okay, mission start. Your turn. Okay, I want to go over a few things real quick just to kind of point out what we're looking at here. Obviously, your turn, round 1 up here. Mission parameters right here. Destroy the Urugan Directorate units. I kind of like that they put the percentage up there instead of saying 5 of 5, 0, 6, 0, 7. You don't really know how much you're running into until you actually get into. Of course, as soon as you destroy the first one, it's like, oh, 33% destroyed. Well, that means there's 2 other mechs out there I got to destroy. But it does kind of keep you with a little bit of fog of war. And then over here, you've got a bunch of little icons that kind of gives you the biome. So we're in a Martian biome. And the cool thing is, depending on what type of biome you're on, it will change what the planet looks like. So we're on a Martian biome, so we're kind of like on the rocky terrain of Mars. If this was a jungle biome, then we'd be seeing jungles and plants. And if it was a water world, then there'd be rivers and oceans and stuff like that. But it also tells you units in a partial vacuum sink, only 75% of their normal heat. That means my heat sinks are only 75% as effective. It's harder to vent heat into a vacuum of space. So that means I'm going to be running a little bit hotter, and I need to kind of keep a closer eye on my heat. So and then the next one, guarded. This is a mech status. It's basically it's a cover state that you get if you move and don't shoot, you automatically slip into guard. And as you can see, it's actually pretty good. 50% damage reduction against range attacks to the front and side. Does not stack with cover, and it's countered by any melee attack. So guarded is a good thing to be at, but the only way you can get there is if you move and don't shoot. Now there's two movement states, move and sprint. Move is just your normal movement, sprint is 50% more, but to get guarded you have to only move. If you sprint you don't get it. However, with sprint you get evasion, which means you're moving fast and it's harder to hit you, so it's technically kind of a different cover state, only that's makes it more harder for you to be hit rather than a damage reduction. Entrenched, again, this is just a cover state that starts off that way because it's the way it is right at the very beginning of the scenario. And then this mech, my mech, the Highlander, actually has a module that I was able to pick up, which is a reinforced cockpit, so I take less damage from injuries to pilot injuries. Oh, and speaking of that, if you remember in the last video, I picked up that really cool arm actuator that does extra melee damage, and I stuck it on the dragon. I was going to go punch people in the face with it. Yeah, it got destroyed in the first fight. I did get to use it a couple times, but yeah, then the arm got blown off, and, well, it was destroyed, and all gear's destroyed. You can't repair gear. Once you lose it, it's gone. So that's why you kind of sometimes got to be a little bit careful with your equipment. All right, so then what do we have here? We got my pilot name right down here, and my mech or my mercenary insignia. If you remember, that's the Viking helmet. The name of the mech, and then we got the little armor diagram. And the armor is, if it's fully white, then it's undamaged. And so this is the front, and that's the back. It's an assault mech, and I do have jump jets. I'm seriously thinking of stripping the jump jets off this thing. An assault mech does not need to freaking have jump jets. I'm sorry. And then your armor and your internal structure. And that's the current pilot that's been selected. Let's take a look at some other things on here. This right here we've got is a morale. Now, you gain morale by doing cool things in-game, engaging in combat, knocking out mechs, stuff like that. And you use that. There are two special powers you have, Precision Strike and Vigilance. Okay, let's take a look at Precision Strike. Take a called shot against a single target at -4 difficulty. The target's next initiative is reduced by 1, so that's something good to keep an eye on. If you want to reduce an opponent's initiative, you hit them with a Precision Strike. You get to choose where you strike, and it's a little bit harder to hit, but, you know, sometimes, hey, that torso's almost gone. I need to knock that torso out. So you call it Precision Strike, but that costs you 20 morale. And this is where your morale is right here. It goes all the way up to 100. And so you can use, as your morale is up, you can use Precision Strike. The other special ability you can use with morale is Vigilance, which is gain guarded and entrenched and remove all stability damage. Your next initiative is increased by 1 to a maximum of 5. If you want to go a little bit quicker next turn, or you want to go higher in the initiative order, that might be one that you want to go ahead and take. So that's what the morale is, and your base morale when you go into a mission is depending on what the company morale is, depending on what accoutrements that you've got on your dropship. And as you go through, it's like, well, you get the lounge, it gives you +1 morale. If you get the library, it gives you +1 morale. If you have a special event, there's a bunch of different things that can affect morale. So here's my pilots. We got Steel Whip, and you can click on anybody you want. There's Bullet Trap and the number of injuries, and his effects that he can do. And Bullet Trap is in the Kintaro. And, oh, forgot to mention, here's the weapons. Now, I know my fat head is actually blocking some of it this time, but all the different weapon systems loaded out on that mech, ammo capacity, damage for that weapon. And you'll notice damage is a little bit different in this version than it is in the tabletop. In tabletop, medium laser was 5 damage. But in this game, in the computer game, it's 25 damage. Again, I don't pay attention to it really. It's under the hood mechanics. It works. It's balanced out. Like I said, it just feels, I don't care what the numbers say, the weapons scale and feel like they do in the tabletop. Then we got Taskmaster, and the Trebuchet because Herbagon is wounded, and Pointer in the Jaeger mech. Now, at the beginning of a mission, you haven't spotted any enemy mechs, so you don't have to worry about initiative order. You can click on anybody you want and do an action with them. So let's go ahead and take Pointer because he is technically my recon guy. And so then you have this, if you can see where my cursor is going, you can see everywhere you can move. And as it's indicated right now, it's in sprint mode. When you're out of combat, when you don't have any mechs on your screen, it defaults the movement to sprint. If you want to, you can just click to move, and then he'll move instead of sprint. But if you notice, here's how far I can move with just a normal move command. Switch over to sprint, can move a little bit further. So let's take a look at the buttons. There's attack, move, sprint. There's jump. Excuse me. If you have jump jets, there's a jump button there. Multi-target, you can shoot at more than one target if you want to. Evasive movement, that's a passive, and I think that breaching shot, that's a passive. If you have those skills, they'll be lit. And then, of course, precision strike and vigilance, which are the morale skills. And then brace, again, as it says right there, remove unsteady in this mech's turn, gain guarded, 50% damage reduction against range attacks from the front and side, and entrenched, 50% stability damage reduction. So basically, if you go into a brace mode, you're going to take half damage from missile weapons, and it's going to be harder for them to knock you over if they shoot you. Now, but the only way you can go into brace is if you do a move order and don't shoot. So you're kind of, am I going to shoot? Do I want to brace for an incoming attack? Again, it's the kind of decisions you have to make. Chest is really bothering me. Handy little button to turn my microphone off. I actually hope it turned back on because this is going to suck if it didn't. And I'm going to go through this entire thing recording nothing but dead air. So that's pretty much the screen. Then you got the withdraw button up here if you want to just withdraw from combat. Basically say, screw it, we're not going to do this. There's the withdraw button there. What is that? Okay, I can't remember what that does. And then, just the game options button. So we're going to take Pointer first because he kind of is my recon. But what I want to do first is I want to kind of take a look at the battlefield. And it's kind of hazy out, so I don't have a good look. But I can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it with OBS, but there's this yellow line right here, which kind of marks the map edge. So we know that the enemy mechs are going to be right here. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a good idea to run straight at a point because you usually get hit with a pitcher jaw trap movement, and it's really ugly. So you never want to go straight at an objective. So looking at this map, let's see. I could go right up the middle, and it's kind of hard to see because of the haze. But I've kind of got this little saddleback over here. I think I can push, but I think we're going to go that way instead of going up this way. Because I could go up this way towards the objective, but no, I think I'm going to take this saddle over here. So we'll just take Pointer and put him on sprint, and wherever I want to go, just click on the location where you want to go. Now, sometimes you'll have different terrain types that'll show up, and they'll be different colored, like green for forest, and blue for water, and brown for rough, and there's a whole bunch of different colors. And if you leave the cursor hovering over the terrain type, it'll tell you what the terrain effects are. So that's kind of cool. So we're gonna move him there, and as you can kind of see, I've got these gray bars right here, this gray area. That's basically your torso facing. So you can, when you get done moving, you can kind of turn your torso wherever you want, and that'll be where your weapon arcs are that you can fire. So we'll go ahead and put that, and then he'll go ahead and do his movement. And since, like I said, I haven't run into enemy units yet, I can just, move my guys at will. So let's go ahead and... No, we don't want to move bullet trap there.
Receiving you.
He's our missile guy. We don't want the long-range missile guy too far in the lead. Oh, no. No, Taskmaster's our missile guy. Okay. Keep him... keep him back a little bit. I've got this set to cinematic, so you'll see it kind of focuses on each mech, and you can see it moving around. And let me see if I can go ahead and zoom in. I mean, because really this is... They did some really good job on the mech designs. I mean, there's the Highlander. There's the Jaeger. The Gintaro. Now, this doesn't look as good as it normally could. Man. Because this is kind of a hazy, water or a light washed out planet. If I was on like a tropical world or a temperate world, it would actually look a lot better. But since the lighting on this planet isn't the greatest, that's okay. So we finished off that turn. We still haven't made any contact with anybody, so we're still in. I kind of call it free move. So let's go ahead and take our
ready for orders.
Push.
On my way.
Him up there.
Ready for orders.
Let's see. There's Gintaro there. There's the Highlander up there. And Taskmaster and the Trebuchet right there. Okay, now we got some dust storms right here. Now these have an effect in the game. The computer's going through its turn. It's thinking through its turn. It's moving its mechs right now. And since it's turn-based, and I've kind of got it set the speed a little bit low, so sometimes there's a little bit of a pause. So still haven't spotted any enemy mechs yet. Let's go ahead and pick up bullet trap. So now, as you can see, since I'm moving to, since there are different terrain types I can move into, the dots have changed color. So normally for an open it's white, but now we have these yellowish dots. And as we can see, the terrain effect shows up here over on the side. Whirlwind, reduce movement and spotting distance, but provide cover, 25% damage reduction, and range attacks to the front and side does not stack with guarded. So being in the dust storm gives you a little bit of cover, so it's tougher for them, or it's a 25% damage reduction, but it reduces your ability to see out. And over here, we have rough terrain. Rough terrain reduces movement speed and causes units to take 150 stability damage from all attacks, plus 4 difficulty to hit units within rough terrain with melee attacks. So if you're in rough, you're not going to be punching people real well. And if you're in rough, it increases your chances of being knocked over when you're shot. So being in rough really isn't usually the best. So, but we are going to go ahead and push up through those dust clouds. Oh, okay, so we did get a contact, and that's a vehicle. I can tell just from the way the icon looks. So now that we've got an identified enemy unit out there, and yeah, even we cursor over, we can see unknown vehicle. And now it will put us in turn-based mode. So now I have to decide, okay, that was Pointer. Okay, so Pointer's the next one I got. Now I can keep sprinting them. Yeah, let's keep moving them up. At a sprint. Okay, I guess I haven't gotten close enough to trip the end of free move. Let's see if I can move. Taskmaster. All right. I don't have good eyes on the vehicle yet, so I can't shoot at it. And I'll show you how you can tell if you can shoot at it when it comes up. So let's just go ahead and move him. Let's not sprint him. Let's move Taskmaster with the LRM boat up forward. And see, right now, since we did a move and we didn't shoot, the brace icon became lit. So we're going to go ahead and brace him. And let's push the Highlander. Okay, so now as you can see, it flipped into, the initiative, and here's the initiatives: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you always know what your initiatives are because your initiatives are listed in white. So I've got 2 mechs that are in white, so we have these 2 little hashtags. So I have 2 mechs that are going to be going in initiative 3, and you can kind of see, cursor over a little bit. Initiative 2, I have 1 mech, and initiative 1, I have 1 mech. Now, when it's your initiative, you can do an action, or you can put yourself into reserve, which means you hold your action to the next initiative that's coming up. We don't want to do that yet. Let's see. Bullet Trap. Yeah, okay, so Bullet Trap is kind of our reconnaissance guy. He's in Kintaro. The Kintaro has the 2 medium lasers and the 3 6-packs. So it's a close range mech. So we use him. Now, if you kind of notice, as you move the cursor, eventually you'll see this little red line that shows up, and that means that if you move to that location, you have a line of fire on an enemy target. Every once in a while, you'll see a dotted yellow line or dotted white line, which means it's in sight, but none of your weapons are in range. And then sometimes you'll see an arcing red line, which means you can only shoot at it with indirect weapons. So now that we're in normal turn initiative, the default movement switches from sprint to move. So I need to decide where I want to move. So let's go here, get out of the whirlwind. Now let's stay in the whirlwind, because that doesn't affect me shooting out. It just affects people shooting in. Let's move there, and let's change our torso to be looking up that hill. See, Kintaro moves into position, and now we have line of sight on, on that vehicle. And go ahead and zoom in on it. It's a Sentinel vehicle. It's a Shrek PPC carrier. And as you can see, we've got the red line, but you've got this little eyeball here, which means it's got some cover to it, so it's going to be slightly harder to hit. So you click on the target you want to shoot at, if you want to shoot at him, and then it'll bring this pop-up, Shrek PPC carrier, it's an assault vehicle, its armor, its structure, and its loadouts. 3 PPCs. That thing's going to do bad things to me if I let it shoot. And target states, it's in the Martian biome, it's in cover, and it's weak against melee. All vehicles are weak against melee. You'll also notice, you'll see some red lines that'll appear around the target. That's basically the facing that you're shooting at. So basically, as you're looking at this, as the Kintaro is aiming towards that Shrek, if I fire at it, I'm going to be hitting the front of the vehicle, and that's what those red lines there indicate. Also, down over here, you'll now see this little thing has kind of lit up. This is your heat gauge. This is how much heat I will generate if I fire all of my weapon systems. You see this little white line with the shield marker there? Yeah, you go over that line, you start taking internal structure because you are overheating your mech, and that's a bad thing. So, once you have the target selected, then you can choose which weapons you actually want to shoot at it by just clicking on them. And I know my fat head isn't covering those icons, but that will show you you just click that little hexagon to identify that that's the weapon you want to fire. And if you pay attention to the heat, if I turn the weapons off, the heat goes down. As I decide which weapons to fire, the heat goes up. Ammo, of course, again, my fat head is blocking it, so you're not going to really see it. I've got 300 rounds of shots for the SRM6. The damage, how much it does, and then your hit probability chance. Again, like I said, it doesn't run on the 2d6 system like the tabletop. It runs on a percentile system, but it's all under the hood type stuff that you don't really notice it if you're not looking for it. I usually, anything above 50%, if it's not going to overheat me or put me in dire straits on ammo, anything over 50% I'm happy with. So, once you've decided, all right, we're going to light up all of our weapons. We've got the target selected. Hit the fire button.
Locking in all weapon systems.
And you get to see the weapons fire and what it does to the target. That is so damn freaking cool. I think it's one of the coolest things in the game. And that's kind of why I've got it set to this cinematic and slow, so I can actually see this in kind of a movie-style format. And as you can see, we had an enemy mech kind of crop up, and it's out of our line of sight, but we know it's on radar. Let's see if my sound is Okay, yeah, my master master volume's down a little bit, so let's go ahead and turn that up a little bit. All right, so now since we're still in Initiative 3, I still have someone in Initiative 3 who can do something. Taskmaster,
Ready for orders.
which is in the LRM carrier. And as we can see, I can move, and you kind of got that arching red line, like I said, that means only I can only hit it with indirect weapons, which is fine, because the Trebuchet only has 2 LRM-15s, and we like keeping her back anyways, but I want to kind of move him up to get into the dust cloud, and then set my arc.
Affirmative.
Trebuchet moves into position. I didn't move close enough to that mech to get eyes on it to shoot at it, but I do have Linus. I do have someone can see the enemy mech or the enemy vehicle, so my indirect weapons can fire at it. Bullet trap can see it, so I can drop. That's the one thing I love about LRMs. You don't have to have direct line on sight. You can hide behind shit and just rain death down upon them. So let's pick them as the target. We have the 2 LRMs selected. And this is glorious. I love watching my LRMs fire.
Roger that.
It's just so satisfying watching all those missiles slam into a target. It's even cooler when I'm firing at a mech. So it flips to the next initiative. Now, I was talking about reserve. If I wanted to, I've got pointer is up next. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. As soon as you click on the on the pilot, you lose the chance to move them into reserve. So I always forget about that. So I've got the Jaeger mech. Yeah, his movement, just normal moving, isn't going to put him in range to be able to see that. And since he doesn't have any indirect weapons, all he's got is AC5s, AC2s. Doesn't put him in line of sight to be able to see that tech. And I know I'm pointing at the screen. I know you can't see me when I'm pointing at the screen. It's just something I do. Let's see if I switch him into sprint mode. Yeah, if I switch him into sprint, I really don't get much further movement. So let's just go ahead and keep him in move him up, and I'm not going to be able to fire. So we'll brace him, so if anybody does shoot at him. And then, of course, the enemy has their own initiative order as well, and vehicles usually are last. So, but if he's got 3 or 4 mechs out there that I don't know about, yep. See, here we've got up. So one of his mechs moved close enough to be able to shoot at me. That was a large laser and an LRM-5, so I'm guessing it's a Griffin. Yeah, that kind of helps knowing what weapons the mechs have. And so yeah, now we're down to me and the Highlander. We'll go ahead and click him. Now, if I wanted to, yeah, I've got the LRM-10 or the LRM-20. I could sit back and bomb him, but I actually want to get a little bit closer. Let's go ahead and move the Highlander up. And can't see those other 2 mechs yet. Unknown mech, but I do have a lock with the LRM-20. And as you kind of see, white is perfectly good armor, and then the gray is kind of, damaged armor. We can actually kind of see, if you cursor over the front, he's got 15 of 90 armor left and 30 structure. And then on his left side, he's got 7, so, the LRM-20, each missile does 4 points of damage. Unless they're guarded, then we'll only do 2 points of damage. But I have 20 of them firing. LRM-20, obviously. And it's a 95% hit chance, so we are definitely going to go ahead and take that shot. Boom! Oh, I wasn't able to finish it off. Crap. I do not need the 3 frickin' PVCs blasting away at me. Yep, he's firing at Kentaro. Oh, God, that must have hurt.
Damage is minor, Commander.
Oh, he says damage is minor, right. And it goes ahead and flips to a new turn. We're back to initiative turn 3. I've got 2 guys at initiative turn 3, so let's go ahead and
Ready for orders.
click on Bullet Trap. And again, since Kentaro is kind of my medium range guy, or my short range guy, I kind of always want him up in the front. Now, if you look, you'll see that you have the heat that he built up last turn. And you'll see a portion of it is blinking. That's the part of heat that would bleed off if I don't do anything. If I do something, of course, heat is going to build up and generate. And as you can also see, as I move the cursor to where I'm going to move, now we're seeing, all right, I'll get a line of sight on that one mech, and then I'll get a line of sight on the other mech, but since it's a white dotted line, I don't have any weapons in range. So, however, I think I am going to want to keep him in the whirlwind because it does give me cover. We'll move to there.
Confirmed.
And now, I'll go ahead and click my target. Now I'm going to have to really decide what I want to fire. Because if I fire all of my weapons as it's stated right now, I'll get the overheat alert. As we can see over here, I'm definitely going to be pegging into the overheat, which is a bad thing because, like I said, that does damage to your mech. So let's go ahead and turn off the medium lasers because the medium lasers generate more heat than the Surm 6s. And by turning off the medium lasers, we can see that my heat is not going to be increasing as severely as it would have. Let's go ahead and take a look at that again. Let's click on the medium lasers. See how much it will increase by firing the medium lasers. Let's go ahead and turn the medium lasers off. And honestly, the 6-pack, oh, he's actually smart. He's turned his front away from us, and now we're going to be hitting the side, and we can see his left side is that we kind of got punched through and got the internal structure on. It's not pointing towards us anymore, so we got all this. These are the 3 armor locations we could possibly hit. You can see them. Hey, there you go. And you can see kind of the errant missiles that don't hit go flying off, and they hit someplace else, and you know they leave their residual damage. You can see that on the battlefield. All right, so now we're going to do what I wanted to show you last time with reserve. You got the reserve button. So we got Taskmaster, who's again we got him in the trebuchet. I don't think I can fire on those guys yet, so I'm going to hit the reserve button, which basically will move him from initiative 3 down to initiative 2, hoping, there we go, now we see the enemy mechs are now coming into sight. And that's an enemy Kentaro firing at me. Head hit, pilot injury. Can only take 4 hits before or 4 pilot injuries before your pilot's killed. And there's a bunch of different ways to get pilot hits. Head hits is one. Losing torsos, falling down. There's a whole bunch of different ways. So, anyways, now it's the initiative 2. And so Taskmaster, then the trebuchet, which I reserved from initiative 3, he now has the potential to go initiative 2. If I wanted to, I could reserve him into initiative 1, but we're not going to do that. We are going to go ahead and activate Taskmaster, and we're just going to go straight into attack, and we're going to click on that Kentaro, and the catapult, or the trebuchet, fortunately, the 2 LRMs don't generate a lot of heat. So even with the poor heat conditions of this planet, my treble is going to be able to keep up a steady rate of fire. And as you can see, since the mech is facing towards me, we have the red outline of basically the entire front of the mech. Occasionally, if the mech side is to us, you'll only see one side that's highlighted, which means that's the only portions that could possibly be hit. So we got 2 LRM-15s, ammo 450. Each missile does 4 points of damage. I've got 15 of them per rack, so it's going to be 30 missiles for a grand total of, let's see, 120 points of damage. My base to hit is, I think that's an 85 or 65. It's kind of hard to tell with this font with my eyesight, but we're going to fire anyways. God, that's just pretty. I just love watching LRMs slam into a mech. You gotta take pleasure at the small things. Okay, so he did initiative. Ooh! Oh, he got another head hit. God damn it. And there's enemy reinforcements. Like I said, you're always outnumbered. So we got destroy the Arugan Directorate units. That's at 25%. Destroy the Arugan Directorate reinforcements. It's at 0. Yeah, like I said, you're always outnumbered.
What's
All
up,
right, so
boss?
Pointer. Okay, let's go ahead and move Pointer up.
Moving
Kind of
out.
want to keep him at range because he's got the autocannons, and autocannons are a better distance weapon than up close. So let's go ahead and keep beating up on this Kintaro. You can kind of see with the damage, well, maybe you can't with OBS, but there is some slight grain to where my mech hit. So we got 2 AC5s, 2 AC2s. We're at 90% chance to hit across the board. Now, if I wanted to, I could do like a precision strike or a vigilance because I'm at maxed out at my morale, but I don't want to do that yet.
Sweet.
Those were disappointing. You'll see unsteady pop up every once in a while. It's just whenever you take damage from a weapon that could knock you over, you get that unsteady rating. And like I said, ballistic weapons and missile weapons do the most instability damage to you, and energy weapons do the least. And of course, flankers don't do anything. Okay, so now we're at initiative 1, which is me. And we're just going to keep pushing up the pipe. And we're going to have a direct line of sight shot on him. And still, these guys just slightly out of our view range. He can fire at us because this mech can see us. So, go ahead and target the Kintaro. Now, some of my weapons are in range, some of them are out of range. If it's gold or orange, the weapon is in range and you can fire it. If it's gray, it's out of range and you're not going to fire it at all. Even if it's highlighted, it's not going to fire. So my Gauss rifle and my LRM-20 are the two weapons that are in range, and we're looking at 95% at both of them. I could do a precision shot, but I haven't cracked his armor yet, so...
Engaging target.
Oh, leg hit. Bunch of torso hits with the LRM. Ah! Did enough damage, knocked him down. Woohoo! Thump! Ouch! And whenever you get knocked down, you lose 1 point of initiative on your next turn, so because it takes you longer to respawn. So that's kind of why you want to knock people over as well. And I think we had a vehicle. Yep, there's a vehicle, unknown vehicle. Yep, we still got the unknown vehicle, unknown mech at the top of the turn. Bullet Trap has already taken 2 hits to the head. And I gotta push someone. I gotta push someone forward. I need to find out what that mech is. So let's move Kintaro up here, because actually I know what this is right here. This is frozen ice. I only know this because I've played on the Martian Martian landscapes before. Increases my cooling a little bit, but increases my stability damage. And with as hot as this planet is making my mechs run, getting there is probably not a bad idea. So go ahead and move to there, and we'll swing my torso that way. Alright, so now we got a good shot. Can we see? Okay, we're able to move far enough ahead forward. What do we got? Is that a Centurion, a Panther? Oh, Grasshopper. Ooh, I haven't seen any Grasshoppers yet. Damn, I don't even remember. Grasshoppers have got jump jets. I remember that, but I don't remember beyond that. Out of range, so I can't shoot at it. But I am in range of the knockdown Kintaro. So we're going to fire at the Kintaro. And the cool thing is, when a mech is knocked down, you can call shots, and you can target anything you want to onto them. However, I really need to be watching my heat, because with even firing my 3 6-packs right now, I'm going to be overheating. So let's go ahead and turn one of the 6-packs off. Make sure my heat stays down. So we're going to be firing 2 6-packs. The left torso, let's see, we have the loadout. Of course, it doesn't tell you what location they're in. Yeah, let's target the left torso because it's already weak and hit him. And there we go, structure exposed. Sorry, you get the structure exposed, you cracked all their armor. And their internal structure is now exposed. Any hits to that location will start to potentially damage components inside. Alright, so now let's go ahead and Taskmaster, he's not going to move, but he is going to light this grasshopper up.
Affirmative.
Give him something to think about. And now the Kintaro is going to get up and probably shoot at me. Huh? Move forward. And shoot at me. Oof. That's gotta hurt.
I'm taking heavy hits, Commander.
Yeah, your pilot. Oh, knockdown! Crap. Yeah, your pilot's. Yeah, his piloting is not very high, anyways. Oh, and he's injured. That's his third point of damage. I'm gonna have to pull him back. I actually may punch him out. You can always eject the mech pilot. Yeah, I may have to because he's at 3 or 4 injuries. One more injury and he's dead, and we don't want that. So I may have to eject him. All right. So we'll take Pointer and the Jaeger. Again, the Jaeger's a ranged mech with the load up that I've got. So we'll just go ahead and keep pounding on that Kintaro. And you can also kind of see. All right. So now we got these tick marks here. Which tells me I've broken the armor. And hey, as you kind of put cursor over it, it shows in that torso he's got LRM ammo and SRM ammo. That's nice if I could trip those damages out. But his heat is kind of high. We can see that right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a precision strike at this point. We're going to take precision strike. We're going to shoot at Kintaro, and we're going to focus on that left torso. So we can get some shots in there and set off that ammo. There we go. Destroyed the left torso, and we didn't set the ammo off, but we did destroy the torso, which destroyed the arm. And you said you saw it; it fell off. It's laying on the ground right there. Oh God, he's getting shot at.
Losing armor.
Yes, I know you're losing armor. Oh, he's got some long-range stuff, too. It looks like it was a 5-pack.
Internal structure damage.
Part of the fun of the game for me is trying to identify the mechs just off the weapons fire that I take. Alright, so me and the Highlander keep pushing forward, because I'm the big bruiser of the group at 90 tons. I just don't move real fast. So let's go ahead and fire at the Kintaro. That's the nice thing I like about the Hunchback is I can light him up with every single weapon system I have, and it's a very modest heat build up. So I've got my Gauss rifle, 3 medium lasers, a 6-pack and a 20-pack, pretty much everything at 85 or 95% chance to hit. Problem is, and I do this a lot, I overshoot at things. So usually I'll shoot at something, the first weapon will kill it, and the rest of the weapon fire is pointless. But you never know if you're going to miss or anything. I will also say, if you kind of see, since I knocked out the torso and the arm, his LRM-5, SRM-6, and medium laser are now red, which means those weapons are no longer effective. So it means all he's got is left is the 2 6-packs and the medium laser. However, he's still a threat, so we're going to light his ass up.
All weapons committed.
I just love watching all that fire go into the mechs. It's a nice little touch to the game that just makes it all that more worthwhile. So he's got a vehicle. So my turn. Bullet Trap normally is a 3, but he got knocked down, so that reduced his initiative by 1. Taskmaster could fire at the Kintaro that's down. Yeah.
Need something, Chief?
Let's go ahead and finish him off. And since it's a down mech, I can do a called shot for the center torso. Boom! Center torso destroyed. You knock out the center torso, the mech's done. It's a kill. Basically, you're knocking out their reactor. Which It also means it's usually the most heavily armored part of the mech body. Oh, stop shooting at him. I need to get him up and punch him out. Okay, bullet trap. Stand his butt up.
I'm up.
Okay, where's the eject? Where's the eject? I know it's around here someplace. Oh, there, right there. Eject. Confirm.
Punching out. They've got a sensor lock on me.
Coming up on the right flank. Alright. Unknown mech there.
Good to go.
Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and move the Jaeger up. And he'll get a chance to get some shots on that grasshopper. The Jaeger doesn't do... Oh, I didn't move far enough. God damn it. Alright, well, we'll brace. Oh, that's a PPC. Single PPC. Could be a Griffin, because we cut a PPC and LRM fire earlier. Ah, there's the 10-pack. That may have been off the vehicle. Alright, I gotta get eyes on these mechs. I gotta push up and get eyes on these mechs. Okay, there's the grasshopper.
Damage minimal.
I would hope so. Alright, so let's go ahead. Keep pushing the Highlander up. And our heat's looking good. Let's light this bitch up with an Alpha Strike. Oh god. Oh, that hit pilot injured, yay. Okay, so that vehicle probably isn't an LRM carrier, which is good. Okay, yeah, Taskmaster. Ooh, I can shoot at this unknown mech. But you know what? Let's go ahead and keep lighting this grass up. I like focus firing. I don't like spreading out my damage unless I can help it. I like to try to focus fire a mech down at a time. And if you didn't notice, he was actually standing in rough ground, which increased the amount of stability damage he took, which increased his chances of fall. Ooh, 3 mechs. Oh, God.
They've got a sensor lock on me.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, well, okay. Pointer, move him up. He's going to be able to get a shot on the grasshopper. And since he's knocked down, let's see. Let's focus on that left torso.
Whatever you say, boss.
Okay, now it may seem a little odd that it's not true LOS. I guess they didn't want to try to model mechs laying down out of line of sight, so it shoots at a laying down target as if it were standing up. I don't consider it an annoyance. I just go with it. Some other people, I think, have issues with it. God, look at all these friggin' mechs. Like I said, you're always outnumbered. That was either a 5 or a 10 pack, which could be a Shadow Hawk. Alright, and then me. Okay, I do not want to go through there. So I guess we're going to keep pushing Highlander up this way. And let's go ahead and light this grasshopper up. Ooh, center torso. Let's go with the center torso. Let's preserve my LRM and SRM ammo. But we will fire the Gauss rifle, because I don't think the medium lasers are going to be enough to knock it out. Yeah.
Engaging target.
Yep, there we go. Well, that hit the torso. But
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
so you got lit up pretty good. When you're doing a called shot, it's not guaranteed that the shots will hit there. It reduces the target ring, I guess you could say. He's probably going to come and try to punch me. Or fire.
Taking heavy hits, Commander.
Oh, that wasn't heavy hits. Vehicle. Okay, Taskmaster in the Treb is definitely going to go into reserve. I don't want him firing yet. I want to try to pull these mechs off the hill and get line of sight on them. 10-pack.
Damage minimal.
Now, let's go with Pointer. Leave him steady. Let's go ahead and try to finish it, because that grasshopper's on its last legs. However, since I am a little bit closer to him, and AC5s and AC2s are better range weapons, my to hit has dropped with him moving just a little bit closer.
All weapons.
Yep, there we go. That's what we call a catastrophic failure.
Hostile eliminated.
It's the little joys in life. I still got 4 mechs and a friggin' vehicle out there. Oh, and Orion! Lower on the threat pedestal, but still. Let's see. No, I don't want to activate, so we're going to go ahead and put Taskmaster in reserve again. Which should pull all those mechs. T-Bolt. I need to get me one of those. I need to replace my Dragon, or the Jaeger, with the T-Bolt. T-Bolt's a slightly better mech.
Reporting. Internal
I
damage.
just haven't been able to salvage one yet. What else we got? It's a 10-pack. Could be a Griffin. Oh, I guess it's back to me now. Okay, well, Taskmaster will. Now, since I'm kind of getting hit on the right side by the way my angle is, I'm going to go ahead and do a move, stay in the exact same location I am, but I'm just going to swing my torso and my turret. Alright, now let's go ahead. Let's light up this T-Bolt. It's just pretty. It's always a good idea to just kind of move your cursor to see what targeting options come up. My heat's still okay. Let's see, the Orion. We're going to turn the Gauss rifle off because that's at 45. We're going to keep the LRM 20 off because it's at 45%. We're going to turn the SRM 6-pack back on now.
Engaging target.
I know it looks like he's behind the hill, but just the way their LOS works, he's actually not, so I can see him. Oh, another T-Bolt. Or is that the same one? Oh, that's another one. Ooh! Maybe I can get enough salvaged. Oh, no, no! Yeah, I gotta replace that Jaeger. He's just
Really hurt.
too light to be mucking around here. Alright, so Taskmaster. Now it flips around back to the beginning of the turn again. Let's go ahead and light that Thunderbolt up again. Is that the one I shot at? Yeah, it was.
All weapons are go.
Fandango boom! And stay down.
Warning. Armor low.
Quick draw, okay. AC 10 on the quick draw, if I remember correctly. No, that looks like that's the medium laser version. And missile version.
Armor low.
I kind of got some issues going on here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this one out.
Waiting for orders.
No, we'll go ahead and stand him up. No, let's... Oh, the other one's out of range, so I guess we're going to have to light the quick draw up.
Taking the shot.
Yeah, I may actually end up losing this fight. I lost my Kintaro far too early. Let's see, what do we got? Me. You know what? I got jump jets. Oh, I can do a death from above. I can do a death from above. We're gonna do a death from above.
Warning. Leg damage imminent.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Grasshopper. Did you get lit up a little bit? Basically, a death from above is oh crap! Right into the friggin' 3 PPCs of that vehicle.
Warning. Stability lost.
God.
Warning. Detecting mech warrior
And
injury.
basically, a death from above is just when you jump and you land on an enemy mech.
Waiting for
Alright, yep, this just isn't looking good. Which one? Actually, let's go after that Orion. Let's go ahead and do... Oh, there, crap. Now we're looking at heat. Fuck it. Let's go ahead and brace. Bleed off some of that heat. Of course, I'm down, so everybody's going to be taking pot shots at me.
Warning. Armor breached. Internal damage.
Let's see.
Receiving you.
Pointer.
Target acquired.
It's twice I've at like 85% I've missed him.
Negative damage.
That's not good. Oh, he's gonna kick me. Ow! Fucker.
Warning. Armor breached. Internal damage.
Oh, and he's gonna kick me too, of course. Ah, balls. This is looking very, very grim. Oh, he's got flamers?
Warning. Detecting mech warrior injury.
Oh, bad, 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 bad. So yeah, it's getting really, really, really ugly. I'm not gonna win this one. I do not have... Yeah, this is... Yeah, we're gonna withdraw. Yes, withdraw. I'll take the reputation hit.
Mission failed.
That hasn't happened very often. So poopiness. So, anyways, then you come to the post combat screen, and here's your mercenary review board, which went down because I ran away. Any reputation changes, it was bad faith effort, so I don't even get any money out of it. And we hit the next button, and this will basically tell you your status of your mechs. 0 XP because I withdrew. Bullet Trap, he took the 3 wounds, so he's going to be out for 45 days. Pointer took 2 injuries, so he's going to be out for 30 days. And my mech's got Gauss rifle, losing the Gauss. I can't replace it. I have not found a way to be able to replace the Gauss rifle, so that Gauss rifle's gone until if I'm going to have to probably replace it with, I don't know, PPC maybe, autocannon. Maybe an autocannon just because of the weight. And then here's the salvage. I got one salvage out of it. Oh, God, that hurt. And then it'll take us back to the Argo. And then you have rinse, wash, repeat. That's what the game is. I enjoy it, even when I do get my butt kicked. That looks like a storyline mission is cropped up. We're going to do some mech repair. Really? And then we're back there. So yeah, we take a look up here now. Hibagron is 2 days down, the auto upgrade, but now Pointer's out of action for 29 days. Bullet Trap's out of action for 44 days. The perils and the lives and the loves of a mercenary group in the Periphery. Battletech at its finest. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll see everybody next time. See ya!